Day 135 of the war in Gaza. The IDF is finalizing plans to move on Rafah. The plans will be considered by the War Cabinet for approval. Egypt is taking the expected Israeli advance into Rafah seriously. Just over the border in the Sinai, the Egyptian army is building a walled encampment for a potential flood of Gazan civilians attempting to break into Egypt to escape the expected Israeli operation. The IDF plan reportedly calls for relocating the 1.3 million residents of Rafah to other parts of South and Central Gaza ahead of the ground maneuver. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz indicated that if there is no hostage deal reached by Ramadan, which begins around March 10th, the IDF should go into Rafah. Prime Minister Netanyahu says that those saying not to enter Rafah want Israel to lose the war. Mediated talks for a release of Israeli hostages in exchange for an extended pause in fighting have been stalled but not ended. Officials involved in the process say they expect a deal during the month of Ramadan, which begins March 10th. Hamas's Qatari-based political leader Ismail Haniyeh blamed Israel for the lack of progress in the talks, which were held last week in Cairo. Israel chose not to send a representative to the final day of talks because Hamas is still insisting on what Prime Minister Netanyahu is again describing as delusional demands. Netanyahu reiterated that Israel wants a hostage deal, but not at the cost of ending the war to defeat Hamas. Hamas is insisting on a permanent ceasefire, a withdrawal of IDF troops from Gaza, and the release of thousands of Palestinian security prisoners. Warnings of war in the north were heard from both Israeli and Hezbollah leaders. At the same time, despite a week of heightened, deadly exchanges, both sides say they would rather avoid a full-scale war. But the rhetoric of coming war with Hezbollah is rising. There have been numerous warnings to Hezbollah of what will happen if they consider their cross-border aggressions against Israel continuing since the start of the war in Gaza. Defense Minister Gallant made another. Gallant said, "We can do copy-paste from Gaza to Beirut. We don't want to get there. The price for the state of Israel is heavy, but the price is catastrophic to Lebanon and Hezbollah."
Experience the power of truth with ILTV News. If you're looking for quality content and captivating visuals, join our news community and become an integral part of our team as we embark on a mission to unveil the real Israel, dismantling the web of lies and misinformation that surround reporting on Israel. By subscribing to ILTV News, you will not only have access to the latest updates, but you will also amplify our message, creating a ripple effect that carries the truth far and wide. Subscribe today and help reshape the narrative. Available on the web, Android, and Apple.